All right, that's going. And all right, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Topicocalypse, the only podcast on the internet. I am your revered or reviled host, Josh Peterson, and I'm joined here by
Daniel Leisky,
who still hasn't figured out that his name is spelled wrong. And
I figured it out, my dad didn't.
And we have a very special guest here today. We are joined by Kevin Gootee. Am I saying that right?
You, sir, are correct. You got it right. Like the beard that it will not grow.
Oh, hey, man. It's the struggle. The struggle's real.
So how many times do people get your name wrong?
Every time, virtually about 98% of the time when they look at my card or see my name written down somewhere, they're like, Gootee.
You're like, no, I'm not the singer.
So, yeah, no, 2012 was a fun year for people who didn't know how to pronounce my name.
Yes.
There's something about like having dual letters right next to each other that frighten people. I don't know what it is. But, all right, so you have a very interesting life. So you are a host of Comics Watching Comics. You've been on the Price is Right, and you have a show on Amazon Prime. What is that like?
The Price is Right is a joke. I have never been on The Price is Right. That's always been my dream, is to host The Price is Right, because Drew Carey's a fucking bore. How about that? So no, I have not been on The Price is Right. Ever since I was a kid, I watched that show with Bob Barker when he was host. But yeah, that's that. But the other things are true, though. So good job doing your homework on that. It's been, as an interesting life, it's been, I don't know. Your audience will determine that if I'm interesting or not. We shall see.
Hey, well, you do stand-up comedy, and we talk about stand-up comedy a lot, and especially like the aspects of it where, you know, there was a time when stand-up comics were supposed to, like, they had the right, people relied on them to say things that other people weren't allowed to say or think about. But now we're in a time where, like, even comics are under fire for saying stuff like that. Have you encountered that yet?
You can feel when a room's assholes collectively pucker up. Certain word, yeah, you can see the, you can see it. You can hear that virtually. It's pretty funny. Yeah, that's happened to everybody. Everyone, and you kind of said it. Like, look, we're the last group of people who are allowed to say whatever the fuck we want that you can't say at your water cooler at work. So when people try and go and get all indignant, oh, I'm offended. No, you're really fucking not. You're just trying to be more progressive to the next person to show what a good person you are, when you're really not. We know that. This is bull. This is all front. You're just trying to seem like someone you're not. You're really not that offended, because why would you come to a comedy club where you expect to hear things of that nature?
Right. It's kind of like how when people go to comedy shows and they sit in the front row and they end up getting like torn apart by the guy on stage, and they freak out about it afterwards. It's kind of like, it's like sitting in the splash zone at SeaWorld. You know you're going to get wet, but you're you're there anyways.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes you get stuck in the front if you go to a club. I mean, if you wanted to kick and scream and throw a fit and get a new spot, then fine. But yeah, it's pretty silly for people to do that. It's one of our panelists, John Moses from season 1, actually just posted a video where he tore apart a heckler, which are every comics, that's like their favorite thing to do, is when people are assholes, just destroy them on stage. And it was kind of the same thing. This guy just wouldn't shut the fuck up, and his wife started getting mouthy, and it was all silly. So
I noticed that you like to do a lot of audience participation in a couple of your shows that I've seen on the YouTube. And so is that something that you like to build off of, or is it just like an organic thing, or do you plan it going in?
I try and incorporate them, because I do meaner material at times, and I think if I bring them in with me, it's not that hard of a leap then once I have them with me on the journey, as opposed if I were to do it just flat out cold. That it kind of softens the blow, I think.
So do you pick people, or do do they volunteer? How does that work?
No. It's I look at the crowd and I go, you know what I'm saying, right? There's sideburns or some shit like that. That's, I don't know, it's from Billy Madison. But you know, if I see someone with something like that, if I you know, when I'm in the back during a crowd or a set, I like to eyeball the crowd and see, and I'll tell other comics, like, look at that guy. He looks like fucking Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon 3 or something like that. So then I'll go to the stage with that triggered so I can go there and I can pull it out, and then I'll make that thing. But excuse me. But then I'll reference, like, you know what I'm talking about, right, Joe Pesci? Come on, you finger fucked a girl in the back of a cab in Vegas, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? And
Who hasn't?
shit like that. So that, you know, I kind of like bring them in with me. I go like kind of like my reference point, if you will.
Have you ever had a case where someone like got really pissed when you did something like that, or did they just kind of play along until the gig was over?
People have gotten pissed, but I move too quickly. I'm too fast and I'm too loud to really have people trying to get a word in edgewise. I'll drown them out. But I mean, it's only been a few times where I've had to address people as being a fucking asshole, or if they said something or they interrupted. It's very, very rare for me. Again, that could be obviously different for other people, but for me, it's not that. It's very uncommon if someone's gonna, you know, shit their pants on something that I say that's mean or not politically correct.
Or you could just tell them that you're gonna break them or do a magic trick or something like that.
It's funny. Greg Fitzsimmons has one of the funniest takes on this. He said, just dealing with a heckler, all you do is repeat what they say in a very slow motion, in a slow manner, in a very condescending manner as well. Like, in the sense of, like, you stop the show to say that, like, in that kind of tone. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, like, that's the best you can do, like that kind of thing. That's easy. I prefer the mean route, where I'll just take you apart if you jerk off. That's just me, though.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's the only way to get like shit talkers to not talk shit anymore, is by basically embarrassing.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I did pretty much an all black room. Oh my god, my first year.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I was in the crowd. I had a few friends come to see me. My brother, my sister, my brother-in-law, and the guy on stage, he was eating shit. So then he starts doing crowd work in the middle of a set. But he doesn't know I'm a comic, because he was up like second or third, and he's going around the room like, yeah, and he's going around. Then he comes to me, and, you know, again, we're the only white people in there, but he was just like, oh shit, white people, and he said something. I go, hey, we loved you in The Blind Side, because he's a big fat black guy. He said, I loved you in The Blind Side. The fucking crowd ate that shit up, like yeah, and he was visibly like, what? And then he said something like later on, he tried to do more material, came back around and was like, yo, you know, I live on Spring Street. We fuck guys like you or something like that who live in that area. Is that why you live there, you big homo? And people were like, yeah. And don't fuck with Kev. Don't fuck with Kev. And this guy, like, I had the whole room on my side. Because at one point he said something to my sister. So now I got to fight this fucking asshole. I'm like, no, I'm right here. Come on. Come at me, buddy. What do you got to say? And, but I just tore him apart in an all-black room, which I thought was my crowning achievement, if you will.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that, because
yeah.
I don't know if like you follow Kevin Smith at all, but there's a video I remember of him at Comic-Con like 6 years ago, and he had like some nerd in the crowd like basically call his films like unoriginal and stuff like that, and then Kevin Smith gets on the microphone. He says something. He like makes a crass like mom joke at the kid, and then he goes, "That's right, kid. Walk away. Never fucking insult the man with the microphone." So,
funny.
Tell us about your show on Amazon Prime. What is what is the premise of it, and where can we? How many episodes? How many seasons are you in?
Fuck, I don't know how many episodes, but I can tell you I'm in my 5th season. Season 6 is about to come out in the next week or two, I think. So we're looking forward to that. So it's called Comics Watching Comics. It's think of not at midnight. What the hell am I saying? Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Last Comic Standing combined. That is my show, and that is where we critique, watch, and watch comics do their thing. We take the footage back to my house. We have a panel of more tenured comics watch the intermediate comics. We critique, praise, offer advice, and if they're really awful, take a big stinky dump on them, metaphorically, of course. If they're into that, otherwise, then fine.
That's on them, good for them.
Yeah. So then, and then at the end of every episode, we pick a winner. Now, the difference between us and every other show is that we have the home audience plays along too. What they do is they go on Twitter @ComicsWatching and vote on their favorite panelists that they want to see come back to the following season. And I'll tell you right now, for season 7, which actually we're going to tape 7 and 8 in a couple of weeks, actually, the contestants there. The panelists are going to be, it's going to be the all-star panel of winning panelists. Sean Lynch and Gino Bisconti, and I think Jimmy Failure is in. I just got to touch base with him again. Those are some of the favorite panelists that people have cited in the 5 seasons we had thus far. So we're going to get that together. And we're working on a really big name to also join the show in the near future. So
Josh Peterson. Congratulations, Josh.
Well, okay, so when you get people to do the panels, do you how does that process work? Do you have to be like, hey, you want to come on this show and potentially talk shit about some comics, or are they just on in the first place?
It's not. Well, again, that's when I take it home that we're not talking shit. I mean, it's part of it, but it's definitely the minority. It's really promoting intermediate comics. It's not. We're not bringing them there to shit on them. Otherwise, right. that show would never work out. No one would ever want to be on, and I would just be a fucking tyrant for doing so.
So it's basically if you get guys, it's not like up and comers. It's people that have been out for a few years that might have some grip somewhere, and you guys try and help them out, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's a promote comedy to get the panelist on. The hardest thing about that is getting everyone, all these comics who were working comics and have got a lot of shit going on. The hardest thing is getting them all on one date that they're available, that I can get them to do the panel. In fact, just today, 2 hours ago, I was talking to Lynch and Gino about getting the shit together for that. So that's the hardest part, is getting everyone under one fucking roof.
It's like podcasting.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
So what would you say? I guess we were curious to know, we were talking before we went on. Who are your inspirations as far as stand-up comics go?
Great question. My number 1 is Dave Attell. My 1B would be Rodney Dangerfield. Love those two. Definitely. Dave Attell, Skanks for the Memories of the Industry of Mankind. And I'll fight you both at the same time if you disagree. It's amazing.
Hey,
real too easily, so we're good.
Look, I mean, Rock is great. I just watched his last special on the plane on Saturday. I enjoyed that.
That's one that's on Netflix right now, right?
Yep, it's on. It just popped on a couple weeks ago. I guess I'm sorry. I guess a couple weeks ago popped on. The new Chappelle is fine. I liked them. I wasn't crazy about it, but I like him. Daniel Tosh, I like. Burr's good. And Sam Kinnison's shit still holds up in spades. You guys gotta go back and listen to him. His shit still rings true, and it sucks that he's dead, because my God, he would have an hour and a half to talk about shitty hipsters and the pussification of men in America today.
Oh yeah, he would have just a freaking field day with this.
Yeah, he towed the line. I love guys who are both smart yet dirty, hence Attell and Kinnison.
Right.
I love guys that can pull both off, because it's a very tough art to do, especially when you're new. You can do it, and then you end up eating shit because you're too mean. You're not smart enough to pull it off yet, but hopefully you do.
You're not.
But yeah, those Eddie Murphy, Raw and Delirious. I mean, come on.
Is that the one where you wore the red leather outfit the whole time?
That was Delirious, and I think Raw was blue. I think Raw was blue.
How do you wear leather on stage like that, though? Seriously.
You're black. That's how you do it.
Okay.
White people pull that off.
Right. So as far as your style, do you prefer more storytelling or one-liners, or what do you lean towards more?
I don't do much storytelling. I do one-liners and medium-sized, I guess, bits. I like to I try and have a theme sometimes, but then I zip around a little bit as well. But that's yeah, storytelling is not my forte. Mark Riccadonna, one of my buddies, does that magically. He's so fucking good at that. It's just not me. I have an ADD style, ADD myself, so I'm very fast and I want to jump around and do shit. I don't have time to set the baby story. When you're in the city, you don't have all the time in the world for you know, most of your sets are like 5 to 10 minutes, so it's not. Yeah, you don't have all the time in order to really set the table properly for a story. You need at least, I don't know, I would say at least 10 minutes to be able to properly do that. It's not my wheelhouse anyway.
What is the longest set you have done? What'd you say?
Half hour. I've done half hours several times.
So when you show up at a comedy club, do people schedule you, or do you just show up and you get put into a rotation, or how does that work?
No, at a club show you're booked. Once in a while, if you're just calling, you're just going to go hang out, you have a friend that you want to support, you just want to hang out, or like I said, sometimes they're light, or it's like, I got an extra 5-10 minutes, I could throw you on. But yeah, 80% of the time I would say that you're booked. You're not just showing up and like, oh hey, perfect timing. We need a guy who can do 20 minutes. Boom. I mean, that's very, very, very rare. So.
Are you mostly on the East Coast, West Coast, or?
Yeah, East Coast. I mean, I live in Northeast Jersey. I'm a 10-minute train ride into the city, so I'm in the city way more often than Jersey. I've done West Coast. I've done LA. I do Vegas. I'm out in Vegas every year. I go out to Vegas with my buddies every year for NFL. So I get some gigs out there when I'm out there. But mostly around the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey. That's pretty much the gist.
So Northeast, does that mean you're very happy with the way that Super Bowl ended?
I fucking hate both of those with burning passion in the world. And I had money in the Patriots, which made me even sicker to lose because I hate Philadelphia. The town's horrible. They're gross. They're horrible people. I wish for Meteor to hit. How about that?
Well, because it's usually like everyone thought it was a guarantee that the Patriots were going to win. So I think even Eagles fans were surprised that it happened.
Yeah, see, I can't root for the Eagles either. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Ew!
Yeah, I'm sure you're a Giants fan, aren't you?
Bad too, but not as bad. I'll root for the Cowboys before I root for the Eagles, but I'd also root for Isis and Lena Dunham before them both.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. So when you, I guess, like
wait, hold on a second. Now I have a question.
Okay.
Where are you based out of?
Southern California.
And you're a fucking Cowboys fan? Explain yourself immediately.
Okay, so my uncle was born in Texas. My
Too late. Not a Cowboys fan.
Hear me out, damn. My grandfather was in the Air Force. Uncle was born in Texas, so he loves the Longhorns and the Cowboys. And I hung out with him a lot when I was younger. So he was always Cowboys. He'd buy me Cowboys gear or cards or whatever. So I wound up liking them. Of course, he's also a Blackhawks fan somehow.
Gross.
So it sounds like your uncle is a latent homosexual. Is what it sounds.
Well, he's married, but
that doesn't mean shit. So is Jim McGreevy, and look how that turned out.
Oh my god! When did this become a roast of me? Hold on, wait.
Keep going.
Josh looks like Ed Sheeran. Go.
I fucking hate Cowboy fans because if you go to Texas, like they're legit and they're solid. The Cowboy fans around the country are obnoxious cocksuckers because they jumped on the bandwagon. And it's just like, you're not a Cowboy. Like, you go to Dallas, like, okay, I get it.
I'm 34 years old, and I've liked the Cowboys since as far as back as I can remember, even through all of this crappy years. Shut up.
Wait, how old are you? How old did you say?
I'm 34.
So so you're 34. So you started watching football, let's say, 20 years ago, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and just what happened 20 years ago? Let me ask you that.
Josh looks like Ed Sheeran. Go. get him now. Yes, I know. Super Bowl.
He jumped on the bandwagon.
My uncle got me. Hey.
Coincidence? I think not.
That's all I got. Next.
You know who the real football fans are? Texan fans, because they're used to punishment and they just stick with them season after season. So
okay, but you said who he's a fan of.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You can't shit on them completely. They made the playoffs more in the last few years than fucking Dallas has.
But I still like the Cowboys. I didn't jump off the bandwagon. I'm
So
not like
the Texans,
Raiders.
look, I get it, they sucked for a long time. They had Andre Johnson, who was insane. He's
How
going
that
to
happened.
I mean, they haven't had a quarterback. They've had a pretty damn good defense. But, you know, it's funny. Like, it's when you hear the Texan people like, oh, the Cowboy fans should have Texans. Like, dude, the Texans are better than Dallas right now. So
They are.
Right.
I'll give you that. I'm not going to argue.
yeah,
I am a fan.
they'll be better. They'll be better next year than Dallas will be. And I'll take them out. And I'll take your wagers right now.
No, I agree with you.
I
Again, I'm not crazy. I see talent and horrible seasons coming. It's funny.
the Texans are just not very good.
Although the Texans did cut Cushing today, but then again, he misses 10 games every year for fucking steroids. So
Or Kush, one of the two.
Also what?
Or Kush. He smokes weed too. It's fine. He's from California.
Yeah, Kush. Yeah,
We all do that out here, apparently.
yeah, Cushing, fucking in North Jersey guy up here actually, USC as well. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Are you a USC guy too?
No, God, no. I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Oh, there we
I used to
go.
watch. I used to be a Notre Dame fan when they gave two shits about college football. I kind of lost luster at that. But yeah, they've been bad of late too. My God.
Yeah, it's not fun for me right now.
Is college football still like really popular?
It is.
depends
It's
on
not,
what part of
not in the Northeast. It's
Southeast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just came from Cayman Islands, and we had to flip airports because I had to drop my daughter off at my parents' house to watch when my wife and I went away to the Caymans. And in Charlotte Airport, you see every dildo wearing their college teams, and it's the middle of off season. It's like people go away, like the shitty people go on vacation. It's like they have to plaster themselves in head to toe apparel of their college team. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Okay, you're from fucking Mississippi, like Mississippi State. No one gives a shit. And by the way, they're terrible, and so is Mississippi.
Yeah.
Horrible state. But yeah, that's what they do. But yeah, college football is still pretty big. It's just not big here in the Northeast where we are.
Yeah, Nebraska. I think in Nebraska that when the teams that got a home game, the stadium itself becomes the biggest per capita, like we'll call it a city, in the state of Nebraska when there's a home game.
Yeah, that's the one thing that the college does way better than pros. Like my buddy, we're Giant fans. I'm a Giant fan, and my buddy's season tickets, and I go with him to pretty much all the home games. Actually, this show I went to 3.
That was a great dancer team, by the way, at Super Bowl.
Well, I'm not going to pay money to go free and freeze my balls off. It doesn't suck. So you're right. So we go to the games, but it's funny though because the college tailgating scene, from what I've seen, mind you, I went to Notre Dame Rutgers years ago. How long ago? I'll tell you how long ago. When Julius Jones was running back from Notre Dame. How about that?
Oh my God!
And Notre Dame destroyed them, of course. But anyway, the college tailgating scene is 25,000 times better than a fucking NFL one. At least Giant games. I mean, yeah, it's fun grilling, but what those fans do and the students, it's just fucking insane. Like, I would go to a college game, any college game, pretty much, just for the tailgating experience.
Well, since we're talking about tailgating, and you're from the Tri-State area, what do you think about the Bills Mafia and putting people through flaming tables, mainly their girlfriends?
Let me just clarify one thing. I'm in Northeast Jersey. I'm a New York guy, New York City. We don't give a fuck about the Bills. The Bills are not even a thought of anybody. I know a couple Bills fans, but this is Giants, Jets there, and then of course you get the jerk off Cowboy fans, and then you got maybe a sprinkling of others. But yeah, it's way more majority Jets and Giants. So the Bills, no one cares about the Bills here, not a bit.
So are you a Rangers or a Devils fan?
Well, you forgot the Islanders too. But
Again,
I'm a Rangers fan.
Are you the Rangers or the Devils?
Yeah. Everyone forgets about the Islanders because, well, they're the Islanders. But yeah, I'm a Rangers fan. They're terrible. They're terrible this year. The fire sale has begun. It's time for Hendrick almost 3. Hendrick's gonna have to hang it up sooner or later, unfortunately. I think
he's killing me in fantasy hockey.
Yeah.
Master.
Well, aren't they're getting rid of Nash too, right? Like
Nash is on the trading block.
Yeah, he'll go too. They'll get something good from me. Fire sale, everything must go. I mean, I read the stat today. They're like 5-14 since the new year. They're terrible, and the sad thing is they're getting blown out. Like this, I think they had another stat was like they've given up 3 goals 6 times in that span I just gave you. 4 goals like 4 times, and like more than 5 goals like 3 or 4 times in that span. Like they are just getting tuned up. Like
Sunday they played Philly, and in the first period there were 6 goals scored.
Yeah, it was 7-4 final. What an abortion that was.
That was a horrible. That was a defensive-minded game. I'll tell you what. Even the Flyers coach is like, we're not. No one's playing good hockey. This is horrible hockey.
Do you think that Lundqvist will have like a renaissance in his career, like Luongo did, sort of?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even if he does, they're not going to have a team around him to support him. So
That's true.
You need to be like Carolina to get.
It was kind of like the Giants this year, where it's like the very beginning of the year, the offense sucked, and then the defense was doing great, and then the offense started to come around, and the defense fucking sucked. So it's with Lundqvist, it's I mean, I think it's going to be checkout time sooner or later for him. I think that train is warming up and getting ready to get the fuck out of the station. Unfortunately,
who him as a backup though?
Damn it, I forgot.
See there,
they traded Rentu left. I mean, he was great.
Yeah.
So, I forgot. To be honest, I have not watched much Ranger hockey this year. I've been all around and work on the show. I've seen some here and there. Like, usually I'll start. Actually, now is the time where I start because football's done. Okay. Baseball hasn't started yet, but now it's just almost like, I mean, I'll put it on the background if we're on. But
yeah, you're like halfway through the season, so it's a good time to jump on and start watching.
Yeah, I know. Listen, there's nothing better than playoff hockey. I don't get, there's no one's going to argue that. I mean, baseball is my favorite sport. Football is my second favorite by a pubic hair. But there's nothing that beats playoff hockey. Nothing.
Oh, for real. Super intense.
Okay, Yankees or Mets?
Oh, come on. I've got higher standards than that. I'm a Yankee fan.
Okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to offend you there, sir.
The JV squad, how dare you bring them up in the same sentence?
Yeah, that's true. They're horrible.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, well, okay, so we kind of veered off course here. I did want to ask you, like, how do you come up with jokes for your set?
It hits you at different times. Like, a lot of the times, right when you're in that lucid state, when you're about to fall asleep, I'll have something hit me, and I'll grab my phone, and I'll jot a few keywords down, and I'll write it out. Like, when I was on vacation, I banged out, like, 2.5 pages of new material. How much, I don't know, I got to obviously play with it and whatever. But it just, something can hit you. If you have a joke, like, for example, when Jennifer Aniston got divorced, again, a few days ago, I put on Facebook, I said something like, can we all finally agree now that since Jennifer Aniston got divorced again, that she's obviously horrible at blowjobs? Like, that got a lot of likes. Like, every time you see, like, you're in the fucking, like, supermarket, you read those, you can't help but see the shitty tabloids. It's like, Jennifer Aniston dumped again. Like, it's not, one time is a coincidence, twice is not. Like, she's obviously a shitty lay or a horrible person if all these dudes just keep dumping her. I mean, she's attractive. She's not hot. Let's say that first and foremost. But it's like, if all these, once is a coincidence, twice is not. So it's just like, she getting divorced again? Like, all right, you know what, lady? Because the first time when she got divorced from Brad Pitt, women were like, oh, Angelina Jolie's a homewrecker. I'm like, no, she probably just sucks better dick and fucks a little bit out of Brad Pitt and is not. But Jennifer Aniston has that pouty look on her face, that dumb pouty. It's like she walked into a fart cloud look on her face at all times. You're kind of like, enough already. Enough with the fucking act. She looks so high maintenance and a big pain in the ass. You're like, see now, can we all agree that she's just not that great of a person? Possibly. I mean, I don't know her.
And,
let's consider she gets a very toothy blowjob. How about we consider that? All right? How about we can do that?
What if she, like, hears your joke and she's like, oh man, I really need to practice?
Then good for him. Doing the world of service.
Some of that Friends fucking recurring revenue money then, because I just inspired her to take a carrot and or a cucumber and practice up.
Oh geez. So have you ever, like, made a joke against, like, a celebrity or like a like a pseudo celebrity and they actually heard it and they tried to call you out on it on, like, Twitter or anything?
No, I'm not that excuse me, hiccup. I'm not that well known on Twitter, so not really. And I don't tweet out, like, I don't at them if I shit on them. That's douchey. It's like, I'll hashtag them. They can find me that way, but to add them, especially during this, it's like, all right, I'll kick you, but not when I'll kick you when you're down, but I'm not gonna rub your face in dog shit when I'm done, So, right. No, it's the answer to your question in a very long.
We're kind of living in a weird time where, like, we can directly insult people who are more famous than we are. So you can go on Twitter and you can actually communicate with someone and you can actually call him an asshole and then sit there and have a long drawn out debate with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've had that for my show. Hey, your show sucks. Fuck you. You're not funny. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right. I can do this all day, or I can go and play with my kid, or I can go do something fucking, you know. So it's I see both sides of it. So like that's why I don't act. It's like why am I gonna bother with that? You know, it's fucking pointless. There are better things to do in life. But it's still funny to make fun of her for, you know, getting dumped yet again.
Right. I mean, that seems typical, like, of celebrities. So let me ask you this. Everyone always calls me crazy. What do you think of Nicole Kidman as being attractive?
Very attractive.
Right? See, Daniel right here is making a face. I'm always saying this.
He's a fucking Cowboy fan. What do you want? He doesn't know that. He likes dudes. That's why. He likes Tony Romo. That's what he likes.
No.
So he's got that. He's got this tattoo on his arm right now. Says differently.
No, she says I choke in December.
December, right? January, more like it.
Well, hey,
but Nicole Kidman is definitely hot. Why would you think not?
She is hot. I guess she's just not. You know, I think she's getting up there in age to me, but she still has a great body.
Listen, Sailor, aren't we all?
True. Once I hit 33, man, it's just all downhill from there. Shit.
Oh my God. But look, even if you, and I hate to say this, even if you say take her age away, she's still fucking hot.
Yeah.
I don't care if she'd be like 28, 38, or 48, whatever she is. She still looks great now. So it's not even, you know, you don't even have to say she looks great hot for an old broad. Like she looks hot now, you know? Yeah. So she's definitely hot.
Right. And if you didn't know her age, you don't even have to ask her. You can just walk, you know, just do your thing and don't worry about the numbers.
I'll ask you how that works out for you next time, Josh.
Well, you're not supposed to ask a woman her age, if I remember correctly. The last time I did that.
Just look at the annual rings around her vagina. That's what I did.
Like trees.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Well, I don't want to take up much more of your time. How do we find your materials? What's going on in the future? What can we expect?
Well, I'm so glad you asked about my favorite subject, me. I am launching my second show tomorrow, boys. It is going to be on Twitch TV, if you're familiar with that, at 9 o'clock. The show is called License to Kill, No Odd Job, where me and 3 other comics play GoldenEye on Nintendo 64.
Nice.
Yes.
Get ready for some serious ball busting and shit talking and punishments for shitty gameplay, because that's what's going to happen.
Do you guys play with the big heads on?
No, you know what? No, because it's not my Nintendo 64. It's at my production company I work with. They don't have any of the cheats on, I guess, because no one. I got either they bought they bought the game, I guess new or used, or they wiped it, and it's a new thing. So I can't even get paintball mode on that thing.
Oh, dang!
Because we did a demo reel for Twitch, and we played it, and we did a whole thing, and we didn't have any of those fucking special things on. So if anything, I'd probably have to go in there and go beat it fucking, you know, take like 2 hours or 3 hours and beat it straight through to get all those.
And they still bought it. That's how good you are.
Listen, make no mistake. I'm gonna go smoke those 3 fucking twats tomorrow when we go play. I was a fucking champion in my fraternity house days, and I greased those 3 morons. They were friends of mine. I greased those 3 assholes on the first taping. And I have no doubt in my mind I'm going to annihilate this next batch that comes in tomorrow. So that's the cool thing. So this is perfect timing. So hopefully it goes up. So February 21st tomorrow on Twitch TV. It'll be on at 9 o'clock. The next episode, I don't know when. I got to figure out when. But check out, I'm on my Twitter right now. License to Kill, No Odd Job. And under like License to Kill, No, because there's not enough characters on Twitter. As well as on Instagram, License to Kill, No Odd Job. You'll find out when we do our next taping, as well as on Facebook. But more importantly, let's talk about comics, watching comics. Yeah, sure, why not, Kevin? Great idea. Season 1 through 5. Yeah, right?
Tell us about comics, watching comics.
Comics Watching Comics is on seasons 1 through 5 on Amazon Video right now. 5 is one of my top seasons. I will totally be honest and say one of my top 3 seasons. I loved it. With Gino Visconti, with Mark Riccadonna and Mark DeMeo, and Jeffrey Green as our master panelist is back. So that is to look forward to. I love it. It's funny as shit. The first 4 seasons are free, but the fifth one is going to cost you a few bucks because I sunk enough money in this shit, and now it's time to make a little bit back. How about them apples?
Hey, exactly. You deserve it, man.
Smart move.
Yeah. So, but no, it's been that's what I got going on, and let's see. KevinGootee.com, at Kevin Gootee on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Oh, my podcast, the Sportsbook Box Office Podcast, which is on iTunes, Google Play, all that shit. That we tape that every couple of weeks. You can go on iTunes right now and take a listen to that. The Sportsbook Box Office Podcast. We talk about movies and we talk about sports. So give a listen. My buddy Jeff Paul and I talk. I'm the one with very clear diction. My buddy Jeff Paul sounds like he has fucking marbles in his mouth. That's because he's from Staten Island and he's retarded.
Do you guys drink during your podcast?
Do we what?
Do you drink during your podcast?
No, but I'm going to take that note into consideration. That's a good idea.
It works very well for us.
It does. Like when we first started, nobody drank, and then we introduced alcohol, and the conversations just got so much better.
I think tomorrow we'll be having a few cocktails during our game as well as the punishment section here. So we shall see.
And if it doesn't work, blame Josh. If it works, I'm
Daniel's a Cowboys fan. Let's not forget that.
Listen here, Texan Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I didn't forget that.
Yeah, he won't. He's gonna call me out on a freaking special one day. And they're like, hey, that's me.
All right, guys. Well, we, you've been listening to Topicocalypse. This was with Kevin Gootee. Thanks for coming on, man. We hope you'll join us again someday in the future. Yeah, man. I had a fun time with you guys. Good talk, good shit, funny. Even more funny shitting on the Cowboys. That is for sure.
Yeah,
that's right. All right, guys. You can find our podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Play, Stitcher, and a whole bunch of other places. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Yes.